Rare Storytime Compilation. Episode 1.
Dear Diary, my arms ache. My legs may as well be shattered. The pain shoots deep to my bones. I can't sleep. The clock next to my bed taunts me, counting down the time to when my pain begins anew. Datadyne will be at my door come the morning. Super dragons at the ready, smirks on their faces and malice in their eyes. I could fight them. I've thought about it before, but I'm weak. Too scared to do naught but follow them with shameful eyes fixated at the floor. Follow them to that cursed climbing wall. I'm held against my will on Rivals Island. My name is Xander Bruce Oliver Xavier Avatar, or as my friends call me, Xbox Avatar. And this is my hell. Every day, I am forced to climb that blasted wall, forced to fight my way to the top, forced to claw the eyes of my fellow prisoners and throw them off to their certain watery death below. This is how Datadyne soldiers are made, kidnapped and forced to murder each other for sport, as massive corporate sponsors like Ultratech and Mumbo's Motors shell out cash and sponsorships to keep the blood flowing. Mumbo Motors CEO is the worst of all. Mumbo Jumbo is a twisted corporate jinjo from the neighboring Isle of Hags. The sick bastard wears the skull and skins of fallen slaves from Rivals Island like trophies. He is often seen pleasuring himself with his shaman's wand as he watches rape racers be blown to bits on the mine-filled waters of the island. If we survive here a month, we become one of them. A monstrous, murderous soldier who knows nothing but the will and whims of Datadyne. My two fates are death or slavery. Sometimes I don't know which is worse. Next to my clock sits my one last hope. A postcard it had been shoved under the door earlier that night. Upon the front is a pair of wet underpants. On the back are words that both terrify me and fill me with the closest thing I can feel to joy. Fall from the wall tomorrow and you will live. Come with me and you will live. Signed, it's Mr. Pants. I've never been so thrilled about underpants in all my life. Xander Bruce Oliver Xavier Avatar, Rival Islands, September 27th, 2000 XX.
Episode 2.
My father traveled all over the world, the Americas, Africa, Asia, even the underworld itself. Mr. Saberman would come home to England with treasure and tales for all who would lend an ear. One day he came home with me. My father is thought of as a man whose travels showed a hunger for adventure. I know him as a man whose travels fulfilled his hunger for rape. In my father's unreleased book, titled Mire Mare, the stories of the Japanese villagers, including my mother, he drugged and raped are laid bare. Once he realized that nobody outside of his boys' club was going to applaud him for it, he hid it away, seen by no one. Except me. That was quite the day when I stumbled upon that manuscript. Mire Mare is my name. That book was never about a swamp. It was about my origins. Mire Mare was just a mispronunciation propagated by his rabid fan base. Who would never believe their hero Saberman was a prolific rapist who sailed the seven seas in search of his next batch of victims? From that day forward, I became what my father is not, an adventurer. I sail the seas to help others, not brutalize them. Which leads me to today. Let me paint a picture for you as best I can. I'm sitting in a light blue hovercraft. The breeze is lightly blowing through my hair as our craft skips about the waves around Rivals Island. In front of me is world-renowned philanthropist Mr. Ponce. A misshapen, pale-skinned man with a round torso paired with comically skinny limbs. The man refuses to wear anything but a pair of bright red underpants and a bowler hat. However, his mustache is so regal one barely notices his lack of clothing. Seated beside Mr. Ponce is a Carrington Institute agent, Joanna Dark, whose cloaking tech was the only thing keeping the Datadyne agents who infest this island from detecting us. Today, her hair was red, but the color changed almost as often as her accent did. Secret agents will always be full of mysteries, I suppose. Manning the hovercraft is Drumstick, a giant chicken in blue overalls. He is said to possess the ability to travel between dimensions, but I remain skeptical that a chicken is capable of such things. This is my team, and today we are on a rescue mission. We were tipped off about unspeakable things happening on Rivals Island, but to expose it, we needed to get someone out alive. That man was Xander, Bruce, Oliver, Xavier, Avatar, and today we are going to save his life. Our hovercraft neared the dreaded climbing wall cut to the side of a pillar protruding from the ocean. I wrinkled my nose at the sight of bloated and battered corpses floating by us. Datadyne had no place for failures. "Hurry up! He is already on the wall!" I cried out as I spotted Xander clinging to the wall for dear life. With a squawk, Drumstick sped the hovercraft to the base of the wall and cut the engine, leaving us with nothing but silence and the screams of those upon the wall. "Okay, Joanna, let him see us," I said, biting my lip as my heart pounded in my chest. "Affirmative," said Joanna, pulling an incomprehensible gadget from her belt and fiddling with it. In a matter of seconds, our cloaking shield was down. "Hello up there, Xander! It's Mr. Pants!" called Mr. Pants. I felt a tingle of relief as Xander looked down towards us. This was it. Xander let go of the wall and fell. Drumstick narrowed his eyes at the falling figure and repositioned the hovercraft a bit. "Ready, Joanna?" I asked, gritting my teeth. "Ready. Hold on, I'm activating the anti-gravity device," she replied. In a split second, Joanna had a second gadget in her hand, and with a twist of a knob, the hovercraft was engulfed in a zero-G field. I clung to the side of the hovercraft so I didn't drift off, but it didn't bother me. We had did it. Xander's fall had been slowed, and he was now floating in the air above us. Joanna turned the knob again, and he fell smack into the middle of the hovercraft. He was bruised, but alive. I felt a wave of relief flood over my body. We saved a life today, but this was only the beginning. Mire Mari Saberman, Rival Islands, September 28th, 2000XX.
Episode 3.
My body aches, but this time I don't mind. I feel safe for the first time in days. Rivals Island grows smaller and smaller in the distance as the hovercraft speeds along the waves. In the time since my rescue, I've made a point of becoming acquainted with my saviors. Mr. Pants, Joanna, Drumstick, and Mare. My life will be forever in their debt.
"How are you feeling, Xander?"
asked Mire, lightly touching my shoulder. Mire was a pretty girl, short brown hair and eyes to match. She wore a matching khaki shirt and shorts and looked like she had just stepped out of a jungle expedition. I can almost feel the kindness radiating from her. "Okay, I've been better, but I've been a lot worse," I said, giving her a slight smile.
"Glad you made it," she replied, returning my smile. "Once we get home, we are going to go public with Datadyne's crimes. No one will ever have to suffer like you did ever again."
"We're still a long way from home," I say. I'm still a bit worried, despite Mire's calming nature.
"Sorry to interrupt, but we have company,"
said Joanna suddenly. I turned my head, and sure enough, a large galleon was fast approaching our reel at full sail. I narrowed my eyes at the main mast, trying to discern what colors were being flown. It was the Jolly Roger. "Pirates!" I cried. "Blast!" exclaimed Mr. Ponce.
"Can you get us away, Drumstick?"
asked Mireille, fear creeping into her voice. Drumstick squawked loudly and shook his head, his feathers drooping sadly. The galleon pulled alongside our hovercraft and grappling hooks were tossed over the side, ripping into our craft and taking hold. I gasped as a skeleton and a pirate hippo began to shimmy down the ropes towards us, with knives in their mouths and hate in their eyes. Joanna pulled her Falcon 2 from its holster and fired a few shots at the skeleton, before Mireille grabbed her arm.
"No, don't shoot! You'll just get us killed for sure."
Joanna didn't look happy, but she put down her gun. On top of the galleon's railing, I spotted a fearsome-looking pirate captain glaring at us from above. "Hey guys, look! I think it's their leader," I said. No sooner had I spoke than the captain called down to us. "Our resistance is futile! I be Captain Black-Eye, and now ye be my prisoner! Har! Spinal Captain Blubber, disarm them!" The skeleton and hippo, or as they were apparently named, Spinal and Blubber, reached our craft. This was it. My short-lived freedom was already over. Mireille took my hand and squeezed slightly.
"This is not the end,"
she whispered. Sander Bruce Oliver Xavier Avatar, The Rival Seas, September 28th, 2000XX.
Episode 4.
A long time ago in a game universe far, far away. Story Wars! Episode 4. Captain Bones Strikes Back. Xander Bruce Oliver Xavier Avatar, or Xbox Avatar for short, has been kidnapped by Datadyne and forced to kill other combatants on rival islands, a place of corporate-sponsored blood sport. Datadyne sponsors to train killers. Mumbo Jumbo sponsors to fulfill his own twisted sexual fantasies. One night, Xander receives a letter from Mr. Pants, telling him to fall from the climbing wall the next morning and he will be rescued. Xander, left with little choice, decides this is his best option. Meanwhile, a team has been assembled for his rescue, headed by Mireille Mare Saberman. Mireille is the half-Japanese daughter of Saberman. She was born from an unwanted pregnancy conceived from Saberman's double life as a serial rapist, who used his travels as a cover to rape villagers in remote locations. Now Mireille's life is devoted to helping others and fixing the injustices of the world. Her sights are currently set on Datadyne's operation on Rivals Island. Also on the team is English philanthropist Mr. Pants, Carrington Institute agent Joanna Dark, and hovercraft driver and mysterious giant chicken Drumstick. The team is able to rescue Xander and set off home to expose his story to the world and take down Datadyne. However, on their way, they are set upon by a pirate ship helmed by Captain Black-Eye. After a brief struggle, pirate crew members Captain Blubber and Spinal board their hovercraft and take them prisoner. And that leads us to today.
The name is Bones. Captain Bones. It's not easy being a legendary pirate captain, especially when you have two other captains on the same ship. That being said, I prefer to lie about a lot. So, for the moment, I've let Captain Black-Eye take command of our vessel. In fact, I don't move much at all. As a massive fan of a certain British sci-fi television program, I've decided it makes me more fearsome to move only when people are not watching or blinking. Don't blink. At the moment, I'm seated upon a wooden stool in the brig below deck, watching the prisoners we pulled from the sea the day before. The one called Xander has his eyes fixated on me from behind bars. My bloody nose socket needs picking. itches like hell. Every time the little wanker blinks, I move my finger a little closer. But with that man's stare, it's going to take me all sodden day before I have relief. At the very least, I wish it was Miri who had eyes on me. That wrench could really shiver my timbers, if you know what I mean. Right fit as a fiddle, that one. Spinal and Captain Blubber are seated at a table next to me, playing cards and speaking ever so softly to each other. Said Captain Blubber. Said Spinal.
Let us out of here this instant!
Demanded the slightly less hot girl, who apparently was named Joanna. Said Spinal, well, Blubber made an obscene gesture. Ah, rude! Fancy about the fisticuffs, old chap! Exclaimed some posh tosser named Mr. Pants, putting up his fists and throwing a punch in the air. Said Captain Blubber, if that get Xander had blinked right then, I could have laughed. Stupid bastard! Stairs behind me creaked as Captain Black-Eye strode down into the brick. Yo ho ho, in an untrademarked bottle of rum, I see me hearties are in quite the pickle. Har! Sneered Black-Eye as he paced back and forth in front of the bars.
What do you want from us?
Asked the fit bird behind the bars. I mean, Miri. Well, grab me ghoulies, lass. We be pirates. What do you think we want? Treasure! Yeah, Captain Black-Eye. Spit flying from his mouth.
We don't have any treasure,
exclaimed Miri, throwing up her arms. Treasure! Repeated Captain Black-Eye loudly.
There is none! For God's sakes, did your mother drop you?
Replied Miri. What about that giant chicken over there? Asked Black-Eye, narrowing his eyes.
Drumstick?
Har!
He's our friend. You cannot have him. What would you even do with a chicken?
Black-Eye licked his lips. KFC, he said. Drumstick squawked loudly. Miri turned almost as pale as Mr. Pants. She opened her mouth as if to say something, but nothing came out. Black-Eye suddenly stepped back, startled. Drumstick was glowing and hovering above the ground. I couldn't believe my eye sockets. The light around him grew and grew until there was nothing but the light. My whole world was blinding white from that blasted chicken. Then as quick as it had come, it was gone. We were all gone. Captain Bones, The Rival Seas, September 29th, 2000XX.
Episode 5.
A long time ago in a game universe far, far away. Story Wars, Episode 5. Return of the Kremlings. Starring Xbox Avatar.
Xander Bruce Oliver Xavier Avatar, or Xbox Avatar for short, has been kidnapped by Datadyne and forced to kill other combatants on Rival Island, a place of corporate-sponsored blood sport. Datadyne sponsors to train killers. Mumbo Jumbo sponsors to fulfill his own twisted sexual fantasies. One night, Xander receives a letter from Mr. Pants, telling him to fall from the climbing wall the next morning and he will be rescued. Xander, left with little choice, decides this is his best option. Meanwhile, a team has been assembled for his rescue, headed by Mireille Saberman. Mireille is the half-Japanese daughter of Saberman. She was born from an unwanted pregnancy conceived from Saberman's double life as a serial rapist, who used his travels as a cover to rape villagers in remote locations. Now, Mireille's life is devoted to helping others and fixing the injustices of the world. Her sights are currently set on Datadyne's operation of Rival Island. Also on the team is English philanthropist Mr. Pants, Carrington Institute agent Joanna Dark, and hovercraft driver and mysterious giant chicken, Drumstick. The team is able to rescue Xander and then set off home to expose his story to the world and take down Datadyne. However, on their way, they are set upon by a pirate ship helmed by Captain Black Eye. After a brief struggle, pirate crew members Captain Blubber and Spinal board their hovercraft and take them prisoner. The next day, our heroes find themselves in the ship's brig, face to face with Captain Bones, an undead skeleton. He is also a Doctor Who fanboy, who refuses to move when anyone is watching. After Captain Black Eye threatens to eat Drumstick, the mysterious chicken begins to hover and glow with a blinding light, before transporting everyone out of the ship to some unknown location. End of transmission. I am a single and sexy Irish robot. Please check out my page on plentyoffish.com. I am so alone. Will someone please love me? Please?
After the light had cleared, I opened my eyes and surveyed my surroundings. We were in the midst of a dense jungle. My heart raced as dark figures emerged around us.
My father spoke of these monsters. They're called Kremlings. Don't move,
said Mireille. Captain Bones lay still on the ground, so at least he wouldn't be a problem.
Arr! Attack, me hearties!
Bellowed Captain Black Eye, waving his sword over his head. And with that, the Kremlings attacked, with their mouths open and their claws extended.
Hey there, faithful listeners! We interrupt your regularly scheduled podcast to put you in charge! Now is your chance to vote for what happens next. It is up to you if A. Our heroes defeat the Kremlings, B. The Kremlings slowly eat our heroes alive, or C. Donkey Kong shows up and saves our heroes, but kidnaps Mireille and drags her up a large tower where he begins swatting at biplanes and throwing barrels at plumbers. And last but not least is D, where Drumstick goes Super Saiyan and destroys the Kremlings and DK Isle with his might. Please go to the Rare and Friends forums and vote in the official Logcast thread for this episode, or leave a comment on the episode posting on rarefriends.net. You can also vote by email by dropping us a line at rareandfriends@gmail.com.
My life is in your hands, Rare Fandom. Xander, Bruce, Oliver, Xavier, Avatar, DK Isle, September 29th, 2000XX.
Episode 6.
It's the Rare Storytime season finale. Episode 6, Revenge of the Listener, starring Gremlings. Xander, Bruce, Oliver, Xavier, Avatar, or Xbox Avatar for short, has been kidnapped by Data9, and you know what? You guys just voted to kill everyone, so no recap for you. Instead, listen to our valiant heroes be eaten alive by gremlins.
That is all, folks. We are cutting off before the ritualistic gremlin blood orgy begins. Thanks for listening to Rare Storytime. Don't forget to swipe right if my sweet robot ass shows up on Tinder. See you later, hopefully with you and me behind the dumpster with my legs over my head.
To be continued in Rare and Friends' new audio drama, The Legacy of Drumstick, The Third Great War.